So we are doing the manana for Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, and the shlokas are focusing on Dhyana Yoga, meditation. So for today's shloka, we will do some manana. As we look at the manana, we will also take some time and contemplate together. So these shlokas are based on how we focus on practicing this awareness, looking at this divine consciousness in everyone and in everything in life. So this is taking that attitude of meditation, that attitude of seeing the divinity in everything in our life. And as we go about, so informally also, not just formally, informally. So Shloka says, Sarva Bhutastamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. So with the mind absorbed in the self through yoga, one sees everything equally, perceiving the self in all beings and all beings in the self. So this is one of the important sadhana practice for a meditator and a yogi. The ability to see that the one divine consciousness, that one pure awareness dwells in everyone, in everything, and that divine consciousness is also in me. So how do we practice it? So the two things, one is the personal way and the impersonal way. So the personal way is taking a form of God, a form of divinity, and an impersonal way is that formless aspect of divinity, but acknowledging that there is a divine essence, there is that higher force that pervades everything in nature, and which is ultimately of my own divine consciousness, my own divine essence. So this is where, the Vedanta offers ways for us to conceptualize this pure awareness, this pure beingness, has a personal God, a form-based God that we can relate to, or if we want, we can also consider it as a formless God. Ideally, both. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mai pashyati tasyahan na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. So this is a ability to see that God essence, the divine essence, one who sees me in everything and sees everything in me, is never lost from me, and I am never lost from him. So the Lord assures us, So if we are practicing that presence, practicing seeing the divinity in everything and seeing everything in me. So the Lord assures that if we are constantly in his presence, practicing in that divine presence, then that Lord also is always in with us, meaning in all our daily affairs, the Lord is helping us, the Lord is guiding us. That divine is actually, it is like a magnetism, right? So we bring in that divine energy, the divine consciousness in all that we do in our life. And then practicing that, looking at it from that part of pure unconditioned awareness. So this is a conditioned awareness, as we call the way where we see that pure essence is conditioned in that divinity, in that God. And then we see that unconditioned awareness, what we call as that nirguna nirakara. Sarva bhuta sthitan yo mam bhajantye kattvamastitaha sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mai vartate. That yogi who sees unity and worships me as dwelling in all beings remains ever in me, whatever may be his mode of living. So let us look at the manana for the first part. So the first part of manana is seeing this, what we call as a conditioned awareness, that pure awareness conditioned in the form of what we call as God or some God essence, we say, So this concept, we have to have clarity. What does God mean to me in my daily life? Can I invoke the presence of God in all circumstances? And do I experience a presence of disconnection from God when I'm not in the presence of an image or any tangible reminder of God's existence? So this is where, the Vedanta and the Bhagavad Gita is encouraging us to expand this awareness of God from just a deity, a form, an image, to something that is present in all our day activities. In everything, I should be able to invoke that presence, feel that presence right in our heart. So this is an immediate way of feeling that sense of being in the divine presence. That what sometimes people call it as just being in the presence. Even in old traditional religions and all that, they say being in the presence or being in the divine presence. If not, how can I adapt the concept of God to something that provides constant refuge and connection? So we see, especially, the Lord tells us that at the moment of death, what we think of, that we attain. So if we are used to being in this divine presence all the time, then we will attain that divine presence. So some inspiration for that. Experiencing God's presence consistently uplifts the mind. It transforms the material world into something divine, dispelling feelings of being lost and helpless. For a devoted soul, nothing is more comforting than feeling God's presence in every aspect of life. So this is working with our heart, because when we study or all that, sometimes, we don't practice something for our heart. So some channel we need for our heart. How do we purify that? And for those who can't relate to the personal aspect of God, then the feeling that self, that awareness, can I recognize and feel my own self, my own awareness in everyone and in everyone around me? So feeling this pure awareness, this unconditional beingness, see that sense of I amness is there with us all the time. And this I am is not different from others I am in its pure state. And this is the teachings of Advaita especially. What Advaita is telling us is that there is only one unconditioned pure awareness, and it permeates me and it permeates everybody. So in me, I experience as a conditioned awareness. This I am, I call it as I am so and so, I am born here, I have these skills. So it gets personalized. But in its pure form, it is ever impersonal. And this impersonal awareness is in everyone. So, in that sense, that pure I am, who I am, is not different from who others are. Beyond transactional purposes, how do I value people based on their roles, achievements, or rather upon their rather upon their inherent God essence? So the transactional way, is how we identify people usually. We are mentally conditioned to see everybody based on their roles, their form, their achievements. We value people based on that. Um, but what Gita and Vedanta is telling us is that we should try to value people based on that pure God essence or pure self awareness in them. Can I relate to my own self beyond my outer role, skills, and personality? So, how do I relate to myself? What do I think of myself as being superior to somebody or being inferior to somebody, or do I think that I have these skills, this knowledge, or physically do I think I'm pretty or I'm ugly? See, all this is where, our own self is conditioned. who we call ourselves is limited to the body, the mind, our achievements, our roles. So that is where we first start from. And can this awareness of God essence in myself and everyone transform how I interact with others in my daily life? So this is a useful way of how we relate to people. This is practicing in our daily life. For those on the path of wisdom, a valuable practice is to recognize that essence of our divine consciousness, that self, that pure self, is also the essence of all beings. With this understanding, there are no enemies and fear dissipates. For the entire world is nothing but an extension of our own being. Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati, the Upanishads proclaim. When there is other, there is fear. When there is sense that there is somebody else besides me in this world, then there is fear. So this is a wisdom way. Worshipping that God is the heart way. So both, or the other heart way is to practice compassion, seeing ourselves and feeling for others. Atmaupamye sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna. Sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. O Arjuna, that yogi is regarded as the best, who views the happiness and sorrow of all beings with the same standard he would apply to himself. So, feeling for others, feeling that when others are unhappy, others are in sorrow, we also can, not that we have to go down and start feeling that sorrow, but we come empathize with them, we feel for them because we also go through sorrow, we also go through pain. So all kinds of forms of teachers who have come, their teachings, real genuine teachers, they are teaching based on that compassion because they have gone through that suffering, they have gone through those pains. So this is also a way of connecting with people. So now let us just try to use this more as a how we can bring this practice of feeling the self with in everyone and everything. Of course, in our day-to-day also we can practice, but there is a formal way of feeling how we can feel for others and others can we can kind of try to feel that God essence also. So let us just take a couple of deep breaths first. So we'll do this contemplation together. So the first part is try to invoke in your heart a concept of divinity, that pure essence as pervading everything, whatever form you can relate to, whatever formless aspect of presence that you can relate to. So invoke that first in your heart. Try to feel that divinity is right within me. The Lord tells us, I am present in everybody's heart. So no matter what we are going through, what kind of thoughts or what kind of experiences, right now, every moment, in every situation, we can invoke that presence right in our heart. Now we can also relate that there is this world around us. We are here, people are there in our meeting, in this session. There are people outside in the rooms that we are sitting, and there is a world everywhere. So we can bring this feeling that heart feeling I have, that presence of the divinity in my heart is pervading everything, everywhere, and everyone. So underneath that, permeating that, just like how that space permeates everything in this world. There is also, we can think of, there is air moving everywhere, right? So similarly, the divine unseen presence in the form that we can conceptualize or in that formless aspect of presence has a feeling of peace, a feeling of love, a feeling of compassion, a feeling of joy. All these are also ways we can conceive of the divine. So feel that divinity who is of the form of Satchitananda is permeating everything, everyone. In the core essence of everyone is this divinity, this pure self. And let us now try to bring in that essence, that pure self, as an unconditioned awareness. Just try to feel that the essence of who you are is ever experienced as I am, I am, I am. And this I am is the same as the divine presence in its pure, unconditioned, formless aspect. Free from all qualities and all attributes, every kind of coloring that the mind puts onto it, that pure, unconditioned presence is present in me and in everyone as well. So expand mentally, feel that enlarging, visualize a kind of your pure beingness is enlarging, spreading out into everyone and everything all around us. Now take a minute to just ask yourself these questions. Can I recognize and feel my own self in everyone around me? So for this, try to first bring into your mind those people who you share a very positive, very healthy relationship, your close friends, or your dear relatives, and try to feel that the essence of their own being, that you or the divine essence is present right within them. And just as how you feel your awareness ever throbbing, that same awareness is present in them. Another way to practice this is to feel that who we recognize them to be, that pure awareness in them, that specific individual awareness that we attribute to them is in us. So instead of feeling that we are in them, try to exchange that by thinking that their pure essence is in us. Especially when you think of somebody who you have some respect to, regard to, that pure, the gurus, the masters, and others, try to feel that their pure awareness is also right within us, is the same essence. And those people who we feel are less privileged, who have lesser things than us, physically, financially, socially, are less privileged, we can also feel that in them is that pure essence, just as ours. We feel that pure divinity is in all of us. And we feel for their pain, we feel for their challenges, their lack of awareness of their own being, of the divine being. So all beings, animals, everything can be included here. We try to feel for them. We try to feel our own awareness present in them, sleeping in a unaware state, yet deeply connected with that divinity. No being is ever disconnected. Every being is connected in some way or the other. And they are acting out according to their samskaras, their habitual patterns and conditioning, yet that pure awareness remains unchanged, untainted. And we try to connect to all the world and all beings with this one underlying unity. Can also include those people whom we have a challenging relationships with, those who we are not able to feel as ours because of their behavior, their attitudes, their thought patterns. Deep within, there is that oneness. We can try to invoke that. We can also say a prayer, an intention that as I go through my daily life, as I go through all interactions, can I try to bring that presence of the divine and the awareness of that self in everyone I meet, in everything I do, in also in seeing in forms of people and in impersonal aspects of nature, trying to be soaked in seeing that as the ultimate real truth, the reality. As we say in our prayer, Asatoma Sadgamaya, from that conditioned seeing of unreal truth to seeing that underlying reality. So just take a minute to personalize this prayer, this sense of intention. So experiencing this divine presence in our mind transforms this material world into something divine, dispelling the feelings of being lost and helpless. So for a sadhaka, there is nothing more comforting than feeling God's presence, divine presence in every aspect of life. So with this, let us say our closing prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.